What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Auto Otaku Podcast, presented by Driving Line and Nitto Tire. I am Mike Garrett, and as you can see, I'm here with my friend, Larry Chen. He is, I would say, probably one of the most influential people in car culture right now.
Oh.
I mean, it sounds like an exaggeration, but it is not. But I've known Larry, geez, how long has it been now? What, 12 years, something like that? Maybe more.
I met you in 2008 at the Nismo Festival.
That's right. In Japan.
You were
I was living there.
You were still living in Japan, and I recognized you. We had a brief conversation, and then all these years later, we're still doing the same thing.
You got your start shooting cars even before that. That was what, like probably 2005-ish or 4, something like that?
Yeah, I started shooting heavily in 2004, and I started traveling in 2006. I think it was a very clear line of when I really just went all in on where to go and what to cover. For example, like I really, really wanted to cover Tokyo Auto Salon. I already went to the SEMA show. So I told myself, hey, in 2006, I have to go to Tokyo Auto Salon. So I paid my own way to go. And it was incredible. It was just so eye-opening, and it was just so different compared to everything that I've known about car culture before that. And were you already in Japan around that time?
I had visited. Actually, 06 was the first year I visited as well. But yeah, prior to that, it was kind of like with the import stuff. I always kind of thought it was sort of like cheesy, because my whole exposure to it was kind of the Fast and Furious, hot import night stuff, and I thought this is kind of lame. But then, when I started discovering the actual Japanese stuff is kind of when I got hooked on it more and realized there was more to it than just the quote unquote scene. So
it's kind of crazy to me because I'm sure people when they followed Auto Otaku, the website, all those years ago, they didn't expect somebody like yourself, behind the lens.
I kind of consider that like, I don't know about the peak, but it was just, there was enough technology to communicate, but it wasn't like so widespread like it is right now, where you can know everything that's going on instantly everywhere. It was sort of like a hybrid of like the old way and the new way.
Yeah, and that's kind of why you were able to rise up in the ranks in terms of like the go-to person to find actual original and very unique Japanese content out on the internet. I remember looking at the stuff and I just thought to myself, like, it's just good reporting, good pictures, and I guess it's just a good snapshot, if you will, of Japanese car culture at the time. I think I was doing something similar around the same time on the US side.
Right, with the drifting stuff, right?
Yeah, with drifting, which at that time was still really in its infancy, right?
Sure.
And it was really early on. But with drifting, it allowed me to just shoot car culture in general, and it opened so many doors to everything, including wheel-to-wheel racing, including just all types of motorsports and all types of car culture.
Prior to COVID, whatever, the pandemic, you're traveling every week, it seems like, right? You were somewhere.
Yeah, and then there was a break, right? There was maybe 3 or 4 months break of that once everything hit. Mm-hmm. But then now we're pretty much back to it, and we're traveling every week again, but only in the US. I grew to appreciate it, and even now, or more so now, I miss it so much.
Yeah,
the last big car show that I photographed was Tokyo Auto Salon 2020.
Oh, last year.
Yeah, last year. And then
right after that is when everything went to shit.
Pretty much. But then just recently I had a chance to shoot a Porsche car show in Miami, and it was just so interesting to see. It's been a year, and I missed it so much. I couldn't tell. It was just like this emotion that came over me because I missed it so much. And it was just nice to be able to photograph people, photograph cars in that situation again.
Yeah, I've noticed even like in the few like little things like track days or whatever that I've gone to, it's just like everyone just feels so kind of grateful just to, even if it's something small, they're just like, thank you, we're doing something.
Yeah, the only thing that's really different now is the fact that we're not traveling outside of the country. There's just so many things happening outside of the country that I'm so jealous of the people that actually get to go to. But hopefully that opens up soon once we all get our vaccines, and then we
Yeah,
can travel
it
again.
seems like it's moving that way, so that's
Yeah.
good. You've got quite a few cars now too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I remember back in the day you had your Z. Then I
Mm-hmm.
remember you just got your 911 turbo. I mean, this was a long time ago now, but that was like the last time I really checked out your cars. But so
Yeah.
what all do you have now?
You mentioned that, and then it reminds me of I'm so dumb. I should have bought your Z that when you were selling
Oh,
it.
the neon yellow highlighter yellow one.
You know how much that thing would be worth now?
The same thing. I think I sold that car for like $4,500 or something. At the time, I thought like, oh,
That's what I mean. It's
and it
probably
was.
worth 10 times as
Oh yeah,
much
I mean,
now.
it wasn't that long ago. It's not like we're talking
No,
about the 80s or something. It's like
no.
2013 or something.
Yeah, I'm so upset that I didn't buy it because I feel like I could have kept it up until now. Now I finally have the space. So we actually acquired a property in Los Angeles County that allows us to build cars, store cars, and yeah, now I can actually, I don't know, play
do
with cars, I
do
guess
all
the
the
way
stuff
that I want it.
that you always
Yeah,
talk about.
do
Yeah,
the stuff that I've always wanted to do. And yeah, we're amassing, I wouldn't say a collection, it's more of like just a bunch of clunkers, right? That are just like falling apart at different states. But we are actually just starting a project, which I'm really excited about. We're building a second chase truck to chase Baja.
Oh, nice.
As you know, we love shooting off-road racing, and
Right.
I built my supercharged FJ
Mm-hmm.
to chase off-road racing. The thing is, we need more help now, so I'm actually going to build a pickup truck. I'm building a Tundra,
Oh, sweet.
which I'm really excited about. Same thing, it's going to be supercharged, and essentially what I want to try to do is build like a Raptor Toyota.
Like a what if kind of thing.
Yeah, like a what if thing, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. But that's just adding to the stable.
Sweet.
Yeah, I still have my Z, still have the R32 GTR. I have the A90 Supra. That's pretty much like
your GTR is it's California registered and all that, right?
yeah, it's California registered and it's all stock, 100% stock. It actually just passed smog a couple months ago. I took it to a normal smog station, and the guy has never seen anything like it before. He's like, what is this? How's this even legal? All of that. And then I even called my importer. I called my friends at Top Rank, and I asked them like, hey, the guy is sitting here and he's looking. Yeah, he's looking at the computer, and there's a bunch of these options to check to see to do it properly. Yeah, exactly. So then I call them, and then they're like, oh yeah, this is the exact setting that you have to put in to allow the California DMV to understand what is getting smogged. And it didn't go on the rollers because it's all-wheel drive, but he did the RPM stuff, he did fuel pressure, everything. He did all inspection on it.
They look at everything under the hood.
Yeah, even though it doesn't even matter though. The guy's never even seen an RB26, so how would he even know if it's stuck or not?
Yeah, like he has some book that he said, oh yeah, that's wrong.
Yeah, exactly. But I looked at the smog papers afterwards, and man, it's running clean for it being such an old car. Mine's a 1990, so it's a pretty early version of the R32.
Almost the first year, right?
Yeah, but I think probably the 1990 is the first good year, right, with the aluminum brakes and little things that were updated from the 1989.
Yeah, that's another one of those cars that like they were fairly cheap a few years ago, and then they just keep going up and up. It's like I feel like it's not a midlife crisis, but it's weird watching cars that used to be sort of affordable become more and more expensive, and you're like, damn, why didn't I just buy one of those before
I know
they blew up?
Well, I mean, I think The reason why all of this is happening now is because people like you and I, we are becoming of age. We are,
Yeah, we're like the
yeah,
Gran Turismo generation.
exactly. The Gran Turismo generation, it's kind of like our midlife crisis right now, and we all want to buy the cars that we played in these video games, and then it's definitely driving up the prices of everything,
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
including including the R32, 33, 34, and
yeah.
like you said, the 240Z.
Datsuns,
It, if
everything.
if I purchased that 240Z from you, I would still have it in my garage right now, and it would be so. I just can't believe it. It was actually, I keep bringing that up, but it was in really good condition for what it was.
Yeah, yeah. That car was
Yeah.
sweet, man.
With
It's
that
just.
said, I still have one, but it's not nothing compared to that. I mean, mine was pretty destroyed. It was in a pretty bad front end collision, and it was all repaired, but it wasn't as original.
Yeah, I mean, the original ones are like 40, 50 grand now for
Yeah,
like even something that's not a show car, but just something that's nice. But
yeah.
it's crazy. But it's almost like now I kind of understand, like, when my dad's generation talks about, oh, I used to be able to buy, GTOs and Corvette Stingrays for, $2,500, or,
Hmm.
back in the 80s when they weren't that popular, and now they're just
Yeah. They couldn't
going
even
nuts
give
for
them
them.
away.
Exactly, yeah. Especially
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
gas prices and everything. You have a A90 Supra, you said. Well, you've had that for a year or so now? More than that.
Yeah, over a year. Yeah. It took delivery of it last year in January.
Everything I hear about that car is always kind of surrounded by controversy about it being built by
Hmm.
BMW and this and that.
It's modern sports car. It's
Mhm.
modern GT car that's comfortable and it's reliable and it gets amazing gas mileage, surprisingly, like 33, 34 miles per gallon.
Yeah, I know those
And it's
those
just
those BMW engines are supposed to do
it's
crazy
just
good.
so it's so fast too. It for something that is realistically not that much in price,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
get so many looks. People stop me all the time, and it's just something that's unique that you can drive, and you don't feel the fatigue from it.
mhm.
For example, like what else is there in that space, right? You can get a R35 GTR, but that's like a complete different level, and
Yeah,
it's
and
not
and
as practical.
yeah, and it's going to be, for that price, it's going to be 10 years old or so at least.
Yeah, exactly. Not as practical, not as much space, not as much. I mean, the gas mileage, I'm sure, is completely different too.
Sure.
And also, I don't know, it's just different. It's something that I can show up every single day to a meeting or just drive, run errands. It's something that I feel comfortable doing with. With a lot of my other cars, I just wouldn't be able to do it with my 996 turbo. I've put so much heart and soul and effort into this thing, and plus it's so low and it's just like so fragile. I feel like I just can't actually just go to the
We're
bank and park
getting
it
too
on.
old for that stuff.
Yeah, and plus it's rough, and it's loud. The Supra is so fast. It's scary fast how fast this thing is. And with this modern technology, I just pulled into VF Engineering. They plugged in a computer. 5 minutes later, I had 60 extra wheel horsepower. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the insane thing about 'em. But I did something sort of like that on my Mustang not too long ago, and it was decent gains, but not turbo like that, where you just reflash it and it goes nuts. But
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, it's fun. Modern cars are a lot of fun, as much as people like to talk crap about them.
yeah, and I do think that, I mean, a lot of people have said this, my buddies and stuff, is that, like, right now almost kind of feels like the second peak of cars, with everything, all the new rules about cars being electric and everything else.
Hmm.
Like, it feels like this is going to be like our muscle car era, so to speak. When in
It
15 years, maybe you'll look back and be like, man, look at all the cool stuff we had.
Yeah, it has been that way. I feel like, it's been like that since I think even the Hellcat was kind of one of the beginnings of
Yeah,
that.
that's kind of
Yeah,
the launching point, and then I
yeah.
mean, who knows how long it can last? I hope it keeps going, but we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we got till what, 2035 here in California, they say.
And then we'll just be the Jetsons. We'll be running around. Things will just be taking us around.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, one other thing I wanted to ask you about. I know you're over at Jay Leno's shop quite a bit, right?
Hmm. Yeah. So we do a lot of work with Jay and the gang, and right now we're kind of going about 2, 3 times a month to his shop. Well, we do a lot of assets for his car care brand and
Mhm.
just for the shop in general. One of the big things is that they're starting to sell that car care brand at Walmart, which of course
That's a
is the
big deal. That's
biggest
a
yeah, it's the biggest retail store in the world. The thing is, the thing is, he's not performing right now, you know. There's no other source of income for
right.
Jay. You know, even though it hasn't been he's been away from the Tonight Show for so many years,
Sure.
he still likes to perform. He still likes to do stand up. He still likes to do shows, but unfortunately, right now it just doesn't allow for
It's
that.
not a good time for it. Yeah.
No, no. So all his concentration really is on this car care brand, which is something that they've done in-house. It's so crazy to me. Like, I mean, it makes sense in a way. It's natural. Like, what would you sell as a Jay Leno thing? Would you sell wheels,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
would
That's
you sell
that's a little too specific.
like
Yeah.
sunshade, or or what
Air
would you
fresheners.
sell?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, they actually use this product on of their cars, and they just wanted to develop something that's not so much like show and shine. It's more of like preserve and restore.
hmm
And then so we're really helping them on that front, shooting the commercials, shooting the stills, and then Jay is so involved in all of that.
Yeah, I went to the media launch that they did for that. This was years ago now. And I
Hmm.
remember they gave us like some to take home, and then I gave some to my dad, and he's like, "Can I get some more of that? Like, where can I get more of that?" He was like genuinely stoked about it. So it's
Yeah,
definitely good.
yeah.
The
That's cool
product,
that you've been. That's cool that you were there.
yeah. When then like well 2019,
Yeah.
what is that? November is when we took our Car Bros Fieri thing, and we were on his MSNBC show, and
Oh yeah, yeah. That's right.
that was
That's right.
yeah, and it was. I mean, we filmed a segment, and then they were doing like the whatever B-roll beauty shots of it inside his
Yeah,
shop, and then during that whole time, Jay was just taking us around, showing us
yeah,
everything, and
yeah.
it's unbelievable just how real and down to earth he is.
It's
Like
crazy
he'll
that one person can do that.
yeah, I mean, I don't. It's in a way like it kind of gives you like an insight into his mind because
Hmm.
I mean, every car what does he have, like 200 cars, something like that?
Something like that, and it
It's
grows all the
Yeah,
time.
and but like every car that he has, he knows there's like no bullshit involved when he talks about
Yeah,
anything.
yeah. There's
Because
no, yeah.
exaggeration.
You're right. You're right. It's one of those things where sometimes you and I run into this all the time. We feature people's cars, and they don't actually know what they have.
Yeah, it's either
You know,
someone with a lot of money or someone that just which is fine. That's or someone that just got into it for because it was cool, because it was popular.
yeah.
But and just I mean, I guess with anything but cars especially, you always find there's a lot of sort of exaggeration BS that comes with people talking up their stuff. But just him, it's just he's so genuine.
You could probably connect with him. I could see you connecting with him on a different level because of the fact that you know so much about cars also. I mean, I'm not shy about the fact that I'm still just a photographer, kind of looking from the outside. I know certain things, but even though I've been to his collection so many times and I get to photograph them, I'm still learning every single day about just the nuances and just certain things that make these cars special.
Yeah, I mean,
It's hard.
there's no better person to learn from than him,
Yeah,
man.
it's hard for me to hold a conversation with him because he just has so much knowledge, and I'm just like, But he's been amazing to work with. He lets us use his place to do photo clinics when times were normal.
Mhm.
It was so amazing to be able to use that place to teach photography, and on top of that, just I don't know, just being able to shoot with the legend, and being able to get that close to McLaren F1 and here and there, it's just something else. The access
Yeah,
is unbelievable.
yeah, and it's just awesome the way, like you'll say, he has a McLaren F1, and he has these crazy steam cars that are like one of one, but then he has the same amount of appreciation for a Pontiac Firebird, or he knows the everyman side of it as much as he knows the very bespoke, exotic side, which I find really cool myself.
Yeah. I mean, and part of it is, I think, because of his background, right? Growing up, I think he grew up in New England, and he just came from pretty much nothing, and then they appreciated so much, like just the littlest things, like the just enthusiast cars. I think he was telling me, I think he's just making a joke about, the small town he grew up in. It's like an event when a certain car rolls into town. Like if a Corvette drives through and it parked at some whatever restaurant, it was like an event. It was like a
Sure.
big deal, and the kids would want to go and see it. Now it's whatever, you just pick up your phone and you can see all the coolest cars in
Right.
the
Yeah.
world. Yeah. It wasn't like that before, and that's kind of where he came from, and that's why he appreciates.
Even
Yeah.
the quote unquote basic stuff. Yeah. I remember
Yeah.
the coolest thing that I thought was, when we took our Fieri thing down there to shoot, we started off at Galpin. They shot something there, and then we went to his shop, and it was like, pretty much every car guy has a daily driver. No matter how much they're into cars, they usually have at least something they drive every day, whether it's a beater or something that's really nice.
Yeah.
But he literally does not have a daily driver. Like he just
No.
he goes to his shop
doesn't.
in one car, he leaves in a different one. Like every single one of his cars is technically a daily driver, which is wild.
It's kind of interesting. It's interesting too when he gets driven around in different things too, right? You mentioned Galpin. He works with them every year. For example, like their camera cars from Galpin, and they actually have just like a work truck that's just sitting around.
Right.
It's a F-150, and he gets taken to the airport in the F-150, or he drives that. And I see him running around in a Prius sometimes too. If it's just one of the guys there, it's like, hey, let's go grab lunch, whatever. He just rides into the Prius. But I also find something really interesting is that we actually have an impact on what he drives.
Really?
Because we go there and then it's like, hey, here's something that we haven't shot before. Let's put this car under the light box, and we'll either ask Jay or one of his guys, George or whoever. We'll ask them, and they'll pull the car out. Whether it be the last time it was a Cobra, we pulled it out, and I think we asked Jay to move it because there was no one else around to move it, but he moved it. And then since it's out, he's like, you know what? It's out. I'm just going to drive this home.
Yeah.
So it's like we made the impact on what he's going to drive, because it's like something that he hasn't driven in a while.
Right. He's reminded of it.
Yeah, exactly. He's reminded of it. And plus we wanted to photograph it because we haven't put it under the light box and, made all these nice beauty shots of it.
Sure.
And then I think that's going to be an ongoing theme. We'll be going there for a while where we still haven't photographed certain cars. And then once we get him to pull it out, he's probably just gonna be like, I'm just gonna keep driving, then just drive it home.
Go run some errands.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember when he met us at Galpin, he was driving his newer GT350 Shelby Mustang, and then when he left, he took off in some French weird thing that I honestly can't even remember what it is. But it's just...
Well, I think that's the fun thing is that it's like with us choosing clothes. He doesn't choose clothes, right? He just wears the same clothes. Every single time he has the same clothes. He just chooses what car to drive for the occasion. And don't think that wasn't by design. If he's going to Galpin, he's going to bring a Ford, like a fast Ford.
He's going to represent you.
Yeah, exactly. So everything he does, it's 100% by design.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You ask him about a car, he's like, you want to start it up? You want to do this? And
yeah,
it's just he's so into it.
That's another difference, right? Versus a lot of other collections. They're all laid out in a way where each one can pull out without moving another car.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's true. Yeah. He has a ton of space, but it's not, they're not jammed in there like sardines.
No,
like some places
it's not being used efficiently at all. And my joke is that I would take any one of those and I would stack it with cars to the ceiling. It would be like 4 cars stacked on top of each other.
20 different S13s.
Exactly. Which I think is pretty much what my shop is turning into now. It's going to be that. It's just a bunch of shitty cars stacked on top of each other.
So this is something that we're going to do pretty much on each episode of this podcast, just to ask just that we ask everyone that's going to come on. So, first
Hmm.
of all, what was your first car?
1986 Volvo 740 GLE, that brick, and it's a brick color too. So
Fitting.
I that car turned me off on those type of cars, those European cars, because of how broke I was and how poor I was and how expensive everything was to fix.
It's
If
not,
you could
not the
imagine,
best car for a poor young driver.
no, no, 18-year-old me, I get this car for free from my parents, and man, was it a pile. Nothing worked. Nothing worked at all. Even the seats didn't move, or I think it was power seats, and they were just stuck.
They're frozen.
Yeah, but there was just so many things wrong with it, and that's actually where I learned how to fix cars. I wanted to fix things myself because, I couldn't afford to fix it at a shop.
Just take it somewhere.
And
Yeah.
even the parts alone, I remember my mass airflow sensor went out for whatever reason, and it kept just stalling out on me on the freeway. I got a quote for a new one, a Bosch mass airflow sensor. It was $800. I didn't have $800 to my name when I was 18. So
Yeah,
it's like there's no way.
that sounds like a lot of money today, but back, I mean, what,
Yeah,
20
back
something
then.
years ago? Yeah, that's.
Yeah, exactly. Back then, 2002, it was crazy. It was so expensive.
Do you have three either realistic or unrealistic dream cars that you'd want to own?
I think it's probably the whole like Gran Turismo lineup. That's kind of something
Classic.
yeah, eventually I want to own. Like I think a Mark IV Supra would be awesome. Definitely the R34. I'll probably skip the R33. And I don't know. There's just an S15 without a doubt. I want an S15 so bad. They're so cool.
All those cars, it's like they're cool, and then when they get legal for the U.S., because S15 is not legal yet, right? I don't,
No, it'll be
not
legal in
technically.
2024.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
but it's like then by the time it gets legal, the prices are just going to be through the roof anyways. So
I mean, I guess that's the point that you you have to expect that, because
yeah,
they are so popular and because they legitimately who knows how many are in the US right now, maybe like
right.
50 or something like that, but most of them or all of them are illegal.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And then
so
and then at the same time as they get old enough to come over here legally, then they're starting to get more popular in Japan too. So
yeah,
it
yeah.
just it drives up the price. I mean, it makes sense, but even cars that like I've always liked Miatas, and I don't
Hmm.
have one right now, and I thought about buying one, but it's like I look at them and it's like, man,
They're so
it's like
expensive.
they're expensive, but they're probably not going to get any cheaper. So if I want to get one, I might as well just buy one now because they're not going to like drop down in price in a couple years. I don't think. So you just talked about your kind of what if Toyota Raptor, but do you have any other projects like builds that you would like to accomplish now that you've got your shop set up working?
There's just so many. There's just so many. I definitely I definitely want to build my first drift car because I've been
Because
photographing drifting.
you've never actually had a dedicated drift car, huh?
No, no, always just time attack or autocross or road racing. I've never had a dedicated drift car, so that's definitely something I want to build next. Hopefully, I'm working on it. Trying to figure out what I want to build. I'm leaning
Are you gonna
towards
go S chassis?
yeah, well, that's the easy way. Well, actually, the easiest way is to get a 350Z or a 370Z and call it
True.
a day.
Those are almost cheaper now, anyways.
Well, that is already a drift car out of the box, but
True, true.
yeah, I'm leaning towards a Toyota just because I love working with the brand. They've been amazing to me, and we do a lot of work with Toyota, so I want to try to promote the brand that supports us.
Could go on for days. We didn't even get into your all your adventures, shooting stuff and traveling, but we can get back together and go through that again.
Oh yeah, we can. Yeah, yeah. So if listeners want to support what we're doing, if they want to actually own a piece of art that I shoot on these shoots, you can watch me on autofocus shoot these pictures, and you can actually own these pictures that I sign and I print myself. you can see the printer back there. It's like peeking out right there. That's the printer.
He's got his grunts working on it.
Yeah. But the printer is there, and I print them out, I sign them, and I ship them out. They're really nice.
Yeah,
Large
actually, I
format.
have the Magnus Walker one hanging up in my garage right now with all my other. I have this room full of toys and junk, and then
Oh, awesome.
I outgrew it, so it started to move into the garage in the new house we moved into. So it's all
Oh,
full of
awesome.
more toys, and I got the Magnus Walker, Larry's
Ye-
signed poster hanging up out there. So
Yeah, so just go to LarryChenPrints.com, and things cycle through there. A lot of it is pretty limited edition, and just depending on what I have for the month and what the flavor is, I guess I'll put them in. And sometimes, I do get these special edition signed ones. For example, the Magnus Walker one was a really good series. Um, Ken Block, actually, he helps me out a lot, and anytime I see him, I bring posters for him to sign. And man, those things fly off the shelves real fast. So yeah, if I ask him to sign 50 posters, he's like, just give it to me, and he does it legitimately in 5 minutes. He's so
really,
fast.
he's a pro.
He's just so good. Yeah, he's just he's
It's like
so
a baseball
fast with his
player.
pen.
So,
Yeah. Yeah,
sweet.
but he's awesome in being able to provide those kind of exclusive things. Like, how else would you get something like that? You
Yeah, and
couldn't if
especially, I
you.
mean, when you talk about that, it's almost, he's pretty much like a celebrity for car stuff. I mean, with as
Oh
many
yeah.
millions and millions of people have seen his stuff. I mean,
Oh yeah.
he's
Oh
like
yeah.
the Steve McQueen of our generation, sort of. But
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
sweet.
Cool.
All right, yeah.
Thank you
Well, I
so
appreciate
much.
you
Yeah.
coming on. Yeah, so there's so much more we could talk about. We'll have to get together
Hmm.
again, but I want to thank Larry for coming on, and thanks everyone for listening. We'll be back again real soon.
Bye. Thank you.
See you later.